Yo, today I want to make a video on how much it costs to turbo the 20E. So it's not going to be the whole car, and it's not going to be everything kind of thing, because there's so many different things that you could do differently, or you might have access to different stuff than me. So it's not going to be this is how much it costs, but I'm just going to give like a rough estimate on how much I've spent on it. And also kind of take it with a grain of salt, because obviously we haven't quite gotten a result. Last dyno session, you know, it made good power. I think it's going to make more, but it wasn't like acceptable. You know, it had trigger issues, and it's not sort of, this is how much it made and it's sweet. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt, but a lot of people have asked me how much it's cost, so I thought I'd make a video on it. And yeah, this is not everything. Like, this much is not going to be how much you could spend in a weekend and it'll be done. You know, there's always going to be little bits and bobs, but I'm not going to add up all the times I went to Super Cheap and bought my 700th can of degreaser, you know. So this is all in New Zealand dollars, by the way. Start off with, we have the turbo. That's a Pulsar GTX 3580, oh no, GTX 76R, fuck me, Pulsar GTX 3576R Gen 2, and that was $13.50. And then the wastegate, which, like I said, you could go with much smaller, cheaper turbo and wastegate. I just wanted these ones because I figured I might use them later, or if I was going to do the Honda motor, then they'd work on that too. But yeah, turbo was $13.50, wastegate $827. Manifold is a hard one because there's not really any 20E turbo manifolds available. You'd be lucky to find a stock one. It'd be pretty rare. Obviously RB20 stuff fits, but if you're not in Australia or New Zealand, it's going to be kind of hard to get. But yeah, manifolds, like how long's a piece of string, how much do you want to spend? I made mine and it took me fucking ages, but it only cost me like 400 bucks maybe in material, so that was good. Same with fab, you know, you can pick up an exhaust off marketplace for 80 bucks, or, you know, weld up some mild steel and you're done, sort of thing. Or you can pay a shop like $4 to make you a beautiful stainless exhaust. Mine's stainless, it's okay, it's kind of rough. I'd say most of all the fab on the car, intercooler piping, all that sort of stuff, cost me about 500 bucks in material. And then, you know, stuff like air filter, it's like, what do you want to use? So I'm not going to add that in, but these are just the main things. ECU was 500 bucks, but then, you know, I spent quite a bit on connectors and supplies. You might have some of that, and if you're not a retard like me, you might have some of that, and if you know what you're up to, then, you know, you probably won't waste as much stuff as I did. I modified my factory loom. You might want to start from scratch, but yeah, that stuff might be free depending on what you have. So we'll just go with the ECUs, 500 bucks plus whatever you want to spend on a loom. Camshaft was 900 bucks ish. I got mine a bit cheaper because Kelford was really helpful, but that's probably about how much it would cost. Valve springs 380. Intercooler, I just got 100 bucks on here because this is just some old cheap piece of shit, and you could probably find one on Marketplace for 100 bucks, or you could spend $2 on a plasma man one, you know. So injectors, the 875cc Siemens ones, they'd be quite expensive. Injectors are another one where it's like, how much do you want to spend? These were second hand and they've worked well for me, but they cost me 375 bucks. My coil pack is a Bosch sort of wasted spark one, brand new, that was 170 bucks, and the 24 hole wheel in my CAS was $100. You know, and then you're gonna have to account for a tune. So that's like, you know, another one that I can't really put a number on, because how much can you do yourself? Who do you know? I haven't spent too much because Sam at SJC is such a good bugger. He's just been really helpful. But you know, you could spend $1,000 on a tune or not. You know, you might have a friend who could do it. So those are the main things. I'll add that all up and put it in the video. All up, that comes to about $5,600. Now, that's not including a gearbox that I had to put in it, and a whole lot of other shit that I would have had to buy, little bits and pieces, you know, air filter and just little knickknacks, fuel pump, like, you know, that's all kind of, I was just trying to add up stuff that's like specific to turboing a 20E, and you don't have to do a camshaft or valve springs. You could get a cheap turbo. You know, you could probably do the whole thing for $2,000, or you could spend 15. It really does depend, but yeah, I think that's about accurate about what it sort of cost me, not including little trips to Super Cheap, probably about $5-6 grand. For, I think what's going to end up being about 240, 250 kilowatt. I think that's really good, to be honest, like, considering you can get a stock 25 that you don't know anything about, which are slow as and sound shitty when they're stock. So, you know, that'll be like $4 or $5 grand, plus you got to get it in your car running and everything. So I think it's a pretty good deal. I think it works out. However, I wouldn't go swapping a 20E into your car and turboing it. Like, I mean, it's sick, it sounds epic and shit, but probably not super economical price-wise. But if you have a car with a 20E in it and you want to get more power and you think it'll be fun, especially if you can do fab work and stuff like that yourself, then absolutely, I think it's a really good idea. I'm gutted that we haven't quite ironed out all the kinks yet, but we'll get there. But yeah, this got a little bit out of hand. I must admit, it wasn't meant to go this far, but it's been fun, and yeah, it's real sick. I reckon it's